We're going to be talking about the project process. Every organization has, or some do not have, a process to control projects from the beginning where an idea actually comes about to running it right through until the project is successful. Now, what you're going to see on this slide, the slide set, comes about from the experience I've had with a client that called me in to take a look at their project processes because they were unhappy with it. And I came back with recommendations to improve it, and then they asked me to implement it for them and set up a project management office, which is what I did. So what we're going to do is talk about that. Now, okay, first of all, what is a project process? Okay, how in your organization does a project get started? Okay, a project process is the process that's used to initialize and complete your project successfully. When you're doing it right, it's of tremendous impact to the true success of your project because you're making sure that the project that you are running is a valid project, that it's going to have a benefit to the organization and it's been thought through before it's even been given a go-ahead. So every organization has a project process of some kind, but in many cases it's not recognized. Now, there's a little diagram on the bottom of your page which outlines a process in a very simple flowchart. We'll go into it in more detail as we go through the presentation. This is a very slow process for changing slides. I apologize for that. Now, within your organization, you have to think about how projects are identified. Because, as I said before, many organizations, it's top-down driven, and some organizations it's bottom-up. And often the projects that are initiated aren't really very valid. Somebody thinks it's a good idea and has the clout to push it forward, but it may not really be what the organization needs. So where do good project ideas come from? Anybody in the organization can come up with a good project idea. The workers, the frontline workers, your clients can come up with recommendations. The management is traditionally the people who are coming up with ideas for projects. Often the government forces you to do something, and we're all familiar with that. And of course your competition is going to come up with ideas that you want to emulate because it provides them with a benefit. You want to get the same benefit, or you want to do it better than them and take away any new business that they are getting. So that's where the ideas come from. I think I just got myself. Yeah. So how do you identify a good idea? Okay, because there are lots of ideas, but not all of them are good. So what we're going to talk about now is identifying good ideas. So what you're looking at, a good idea for a project, is something that's going to improve the organization. So many ideas for organization improvement come from the staff because they are the people, especially at the bottom line, the people whose feet hit the ground, are the ones who know where the difficulties are. They also are the ones who can tell you how to fix what they're doing. This is very true in manufacturing organizations, for example. The ideas that are coming from people, no matter who they are, have to be vetted so that you can identify what's a good idea and what's not a good idea. And what we try to do is allow the people who are coming up with the ideas, the staff members, to defend their idea to management, okay, or to some kind of review team that might have been set up at different organizational levels. Because the person who comes up with the idea is the person who really understands it. And they can readily tell others what it is. They may not be the best person to document it so that it can go forward within the organization, but that's what other teams are for. So any idea that's approved are documented and then passed on to the next level of the organization for further review. So business ideas are reviewed within the organization. So what I always recommend is every organizational level should set up some kind of concept review committee. Now, this is something that can be done fairly simply. It could be a few people. It could be a larger group in a bigger organization. But what they're doing is taking a look at ideas that have been submitted by anybody within the organization. This can be at multiple levels or it could be at one level. It doesn't take long to do, and it can be fairly simple. But all the ideas that they receive are reviewed for, first of all, reality. Is this something that can be done? You know, are we totally blue skying, or are we looking at something that is achievable? What are the benefits for doing this? What is the idea going to help us? Is it going to provide some extra efficiencies? Is it going to give us more competitive products? What are the estimated costs for doing this? And what are the estimated impacts on the organization? So once this has all been done, then they take this concept review and they approve it. And they pass it on, if necessary, to the next level for further review and approval. So the project that we've outlined is very simple. You've got a business idea. Somebody turns that idea into a concept, and I call it a document. I call it a concept review document. It could be an email. It could be a web page, whatever is best within your organization. That concept is either approved or not. Concepts that are not approved are filed because they may be necessary later on. You don't want to lose them. Also, an important thing is to keep track of who is the individual that has come up with the idea, because you may want to reward that person at some point in time, and that always helps to get good ideas flowing. So a conceptual review document that's approved gets turned into a business requirement document, and that is also reviewed. If it's clear you want a level of estimate, then once that's approved, you go on to create a project plan, you prioritize, and you add it to your project mix and then manage your project. That's a simple process which we're going to go through a little more detail. Okay, so how do you turn an idea into a concept? Well, ideas are documented as mini business cases. Okay, you don't have to go into a lot of detail unless it's really worthwhile. But you're starting with the concept review document that provides the basic idea, and then you can fill that out into a more detailed document. So the individual or individuals with the basic idea provide most of the information that are necessary because, again, they've got the concept. The project management office or other groups within your organization can help provide the formatting, can document it, can fill in all the blanks that are necessary to really turn that idea into a concept that is workable. But basically what we're trying to do is keep it simple. The simpler it is, the better it's going to be for everybody, better to understand, and better for the organization to approve. Now, once you've got a concept review document and you've approved it, the next step is to create a business requirements document. So the business requirements document helps to allow the concept to get reviewed at a higher level, especially when you get to the senior management within an organization. So the presentations that are put together are initiated by individuals. The approved concepts are then turned into what I call a BRD, a business requirements document, which will contain a description of the concept, which can come straight from the concept review document, a description of the potential benefits, the estimated costs, an estimated time frame for completion, and then the reason why it should be done. This is, again, all straightforward. A very simple web page can do all that. So once you're doing that, the idea then is to review it and put together some kind of level of estimate. Now, level of estimate is trying to provide the details, the numbers that people need to actually review the concept, the business requirement, and decide whether or not to turn it into a project. Okay, so what we say here, the goal of a level of estimate is to get as accurate an estimate of the effort and cost involved if the project was to get a go-ahead. We don't have a project yet. What we have is an idea that we're trying to turn into enough detail to allow us to make a decision as to whether we should put in the dollars and the effort, the resources necessary to make it into a successful project and to provide a product from this project that's actually going to be useful to the organization. So in this level of estimate,